My name is Carrington Brathwaite and I'm a color materials designer. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. I lived there for 21 years. I originally was studying fashion merchandising and retailing, which is still what I want to do. I want to open my own streetwear brand, but it just wasn't fulfilling to me. Just the classes I was doing, homework, it just wasn't that this is not it. It just didn't feel like it. The next move was moving to Portland. I didn't have any family or friends or anything that was leading me except that I knew I wanted to do shoes. And this is like the shoe capital, so like that's why I'm here. I just appreciated design more when I just started to look at the colorways, because the colorways attracted me, but the design kept me like intrigued. It was like, okay, a poppy color catches my eye, but the design of the shoe really keeps me interested in the shoe. I've always loved shoes, but I just didn't always have the means to get the newest shoes and funds, and I just didn't have it. So that's what started me customizing shoes. I take an old pair of shoes. It doesn't have to be old, it can be new, but just a pair of shoes, repainting them, and just changing the whole feel of the shoe off of colors. I wanted new shoes and my mom wasn't buying new shoes, so I made my own new shoes. I take my inspiration from either music or poetry, and I relate it to my own life and my personal experience and try to emulate that on a shoe. Like, how does this music make me feel at the moment? How does it relate to what I'm going through at the moment? My dad suffered a stroke. He suffered a couple strokes, but the first stroke was the one that hit my family the hardest. When he had his stroke, I was in college, my brother was in California, but we were all depending on him, basically, to help us get where we were at and just help us through what we were going through. So that was really hard, just going through that and like figuring out what am I gonna do next, or what's the next step after the family takes a hit like this? What do I do now? That kind of led me to poetry, which I like poetry, but I didn't write it before then. But as soon as it happened, I just felt like I had a lot of emotions that I didn't know how to get out. And it drawing and painting didn't do it for me. It just like, that's something I always did. So it didn't let that feeling go for me. It didn't help it. But poetry helped let my emotions go and get it all out on paper. Yeah. My parents were very supportive when I said I wanted to move out here. They just forced me to plan and map it out. Even if it didn't go according to plan, I had to have a plan. That forced me to do research on Nike and Adidas and Under Armour, see how their hiring process is and what their qualifications are and what do the people that they hire have, what do they come in with. I found Pencil in high school. I had been like just watching them and I was like, oh wow, this is a great program, this is a great school, but like, I don't know if I'll ever get accepted here, but like, that was a great school. So that was part of the pitch to my parents. It was like, okay, Pencil's in Portland, no, Nike's in Portland, so that's the best place for me to be. And that was basically my pitch to my parents, like, this is why I want to go.
Students that attend Pencil come into the M-Lab for a 3 to 5 day immersion of materials, all things fibers, textiles, packages. All students are exposed to a base knowledge of materials, material fundamentals. All the students end up having their discipline, but they also have this huge sense of material knowledge, but also a great deal of respect for color and materials and how to layer that into their own skill set.
I don't want to think inside the box, because you can get anybody to think inside the box. If you get somebody to think outside of the box, then you have a different designer. The scholarship that Pencil has given me has definitely given me the tools and equipped me to pursue my dreams and goals of being a color materials designer.